We start with a woman named Lisa. She is actually lying right in the middle of the asphalt wanting to end her own life, but then she hears a car approaching.
And that changes everything.
Yeah. Facing the immediate physical reality of a vehicle bearing down on her, Lisa panics. She regrets her decision, scrambles to her feet, and gets out of the way.
It's so heavy.
Her daughter, Nina, is dead. And today happens to be Nina's birthday.
Constantly at war with our biological imperative to survive.
Totally, because the driver goes past her initially, but then he stops. He throws the car in reverse. His name is Adam.
And he offers help.
Yeah, he leans out, asks if she's okay, points out that they're in the absolute middle of nowhere, and offers her a ride into town. And Lisa just accepts. She gets in the car.
Which seems crazy. The exhaustion of her depression has left her super vulnerable. She actually explains to Adam in the car that she doesn't truly want to die.
Yeah.
She just felt overwhelmingly alone and wanted to see her daughter again in some way.
So she's just looking for a connection.
Exactly.
Driving along, and Lisa turns the radio on. The news announcer breaks in, stating that a serial killer is currently on the loose in the exact woods they were driving through.
What a nightmare.
Right. He's already murdered 2 girls that very morning. The police don't have a photo, but they broadcast this highly specific description. A white male driving a brown car with a prominent cross tattoo on his right hand.
And she's sitting right next to him.
Lisa freezes. The math adds up instantly. Adam is a white male. He is driving a brown car. And when she slowly shifts her gaze down to the steering wheel,
There it is.
there is the exact cross tattoo on Adam's right hand.
But before she can even process a plan of escape or even scream, Adam slams on the brakes.
Right.
That Lisa's head hits the dashboard.
And when she opens her eyes, she finds herself waking up inside a strange, dimly lit metal bunker. The walls look like weak iron. She's dressed in this weird specialized suit she wasn't wearing before.
And the timer.
Yes, there is a heavy metallic device, like a watch or a timer, firmly strapped to her wrist.
Yeah.
She tries to pull it off, but it's physically impossible. It's locked to her skin.
He's totally trapped.
Completely trapped alone, and she just starts sobbing out of pure hopelessness. But then a mechanical door slides open.
Through that open door, she sees a lit tunnel. But the moment she crawls inside, the door slams and locks behind her.
So she's stuck again.
And the moment that door locks, that irremovable watch on her wrist activates. An 11-minute timer starts ticking down.
11 minutes to get out of this specific tunnel section, or whatever happens at 0, is going to be fatal. So she starts crawling.
And it's not an easy crawl.
No.
Yeah.
As she gets closer to a light ahead, a door starts sliding shut. She scrambles, tries to speed up, but she misses it. The path forces her into another, even tighter tunnel.
And then she hits a junction.
Right, an upper path and a lower path. She chooses the upper one, and suddenly the floor starts mechanically rising. It is literally physically trying to crush her against the ceiling.
That is so brutal.
She barely manages to drag her body to the end of the path before the floor snaps shut against the metal roof. It makes me wonder, how does someone the exact same timer Lisa is wearing? That is the moment the abstract threat becomes a visual guarantee. Failure means a horrific, agonizing death.
Precisely. She has to physically push past the burned corpse. The clock is relentlessly ticking down.
Anxiety is insane.
Suddenly, thick iron bars drop down from the ceiling, completely blocking her path forward, and heavy heat pipes emerge from the walls all around her. The temperature in the tight metal tunnel starts skyrocketing.
With seconds to go, sheer panic sets in. She looks around frantically and spots a tiny recessed hatch in the wall behind her.
She has to move fast.
She throws her body inside it, and a thick glass door seals her in just as the timer hits 0. Those pipes unleash absolute fountains of fire, completely engulfing the tunnel she was just in.
If she hadn't found that tiny pocket of safety, she would be exactly like that burned corpse.
But the maze doesn't let her rest, does it?
Not at all. She survives the fire. The pipes retract. The glass door opens, and the hatch mechanically pushes her back out into the charred tunnel.
Oh, come on.
A brand new 11-minute timer starts. The message is clear. You cannot stay here. You must keep moving.
So she crawls until the ceiling lowers so much she has to turn over and pull herself along on her back, her face inches from the metal. Eventually, she drops into a large tank full of water.
With 8 minutes left.
Yeah, the only way forward is to swim through it. At the very last possible second, a hatch opens at the top of the tank. She bursts through, gasping for air, vomiting water. She is so physically exhausted that she actually passes out for a brief moment.
But then a sound forces her awake. Screams.
Someone yelling for help in the distance.
Notice how the maze is escalating. It is transitioning from purely environmental hazards to interpersonal ones. She follows the sound of the screams, but encounters a massive pool of boiling acid blocking the tunnel.
And to understand the danger, she drops a piece of torn fabric into the pool and it instantly dissolves into ash.
It's lethal.
There's a tiny ledge she tries to shimmy across, but her foot slips. Her knee dips into the boiling acid. She screams in absolute agony.
Ouch.
Now, that specialized suit she's wearing saves her flesh from melting down to the bone.
She drags herself forward and finds someone trapped behind a heavy metal grate.
It's a man. And he is wearing the exact same specialized suit and the exact same timer on his wrist that she is.
Lisa tries to appeal to his humanity. She suggests they figure out a way to help each other escape.
Makes sense.
But the man is completely unhinged. The claustrophobia and the terror have broken his mind. He's babbling, laughing nervously, rocking back and forth, repeating that they are going to come back and kill them both.
And the maze decides their time for talking is over. The timer on Lisa's wrist suddenly overrides its normal countdown and jumps to a 60-second warning beep.
Fire is imminent.
The heat pipes emerge from the walls around them, but there is a massive problem. There is only one safe hatch nearby, and it is only big enough for one human body.
Oh no.
The grate separating them suddenly slides open. And what happens next is not a negotiation. It is a brutal, animalistic fight for survival. Lisa pushes him out of the hatch. He violently yanks her back by her hair. It's raw desperation.
And time is running out.
At the absolute last millisecond, Lisa kicks him square in the chest, launching him out of the hatch. The heavy glass door slams shut, violently severing the man's hand off in the frame.
She looks down at the severed hand resting on the floor of the hatch with her.
And what does she see?
There is a prominent cross tattoo on it.
No way.
The crazed, broken man she just condemned to death was Adam, the serial killer from the car. The timer hits 0, and the fire turns him to ash in seconds.
So, what does this all mean? Lisa assumed naturally that Adam was the mastermind, that he kidnapped her and put her in this nightmare. But he's not the jailer, he's just another rat in the maze. A robot enters the hatch from a hidden panel.
A robot?
Yeah, it has this terrifying metallic skull-like face, but its actions aren't violent. It extends a delicate tool and miraculously heals the severe bubbling acid burn on her knee. Then it physically connects a wire to a port on her suit, which violently triggers a flashback in her mind.
She remembers that Adam didn't just crash the car. He actually stabbed her deep in the chest with a knife and threw her bleeding body out onto the road.
Wow.
She recalls seeing a bright white light descending from the sky. She assumes that aliens must have intervened, saved her from bleeding out, and dropped her into this maze for observation. The robot disconnects and leaves. The maze isn't just trying to kill her, it's maintaining her so she can continue the test. Lisa inspects Adam's severed hand and makes a crucial discovery. There are symbols deeply carved into the skin underneath where his timer sat.
They're directional arrows. It's a map. She realizes the symbols perfectly correspond to the left and right turns at the various tunnel junctions she's been passing.
Which means she has one too.
The realization hits her she must have her own map carved under her own timer, but the timer is irremovable. So what does she do? She crawls all the way back to the boiling acid pit.
She grits her teeth, and she intentionally dips her own wrist into the acid, holding it there while the metal of the watch melts and burns off her flesh. But when she pulls it out, there it is, her own specific map carved directly into her skin.
But as she moves forward to follow these new rules, the maze throws its final, most difficult tests at her. Adam returns.
Wait, we just saw him get entirely incinerated by the fire pipes. He was reduced to ash.
Survived the fire, but he is fundamentally altered. The maze has resurrected him, but at a terrible cost. To get past him, she takes the heavy metal timer she burned off her wrist and hurls it down a side tunnel.
Smart?
Adam hears the clatter and instantly scrambles aggressively after the sound. But then Lisa checks the map carved into her arm, and her stomach drops.
Oh no.
She made a massive error. She threw the distraction down the exact tunnel her map says she needs to go down.
She manages to retrieve the watch, but the slight noise alerts Adam. A 60-second timer forces a final chase to a safe hatch. She sprints toward it and slides inside just as the glass door shuts, locking Adam out.
She stands behind the glass, safe, and actually taunts him. But the maze breaks its own established rules.
How so?
The heat pipes don't fire to incinerate him. Instead, the hatch door unexpectedly slides wide open. Adam instantly lunges at her throat. They grapple in the tight space. But Lisa's will to survive has completely solidified. She fights relentlessly. She manages to kick Adam back, forcing his head directly under the track of the heavy sliding door.
And the door closes.
When the wall slides shut again, it completely crushes his skull. The physical threat of the serial killer is permanently eliminated.
She continues crawling and finally reaches the very last junction in the maze. According to the map burned into her wrist, her path dictates she must turn right.
Okay.
But as she stands at the crossroads, a figure steps out of the shadows of the left tunnel. It is her daughter, Nina.
Her dead daughter. Nina is standing right there in the metal tube, crying, holding her arms out, begging her mother not to leave her alone in the dark.
It's heartbreaking.
She pleads with Lisa to come down the left tunnel with her. She is facing the illusion of the very grief that made her want to lie down on the asphalt and die in the first place. What does she do?
She weeps, but she says, "I don't want to lose you again. But the truth is, you are already dead, and my path is not that way."
Wow.
She leaves the image of Nina crying in the dark, and she resolutely walks down the right tunnel.
She walks on that final stretch of metal, and suddenly she sees it. A bright, beautiful blue sky at the end of the tunnel.
The exit.
But guarding that exit is one final mechanical trap. 3 massive, heavy metal blades are dropping from the ceiling, slam into the floor like guillotines.
Just one last hurdle.
The first blade drops every 4 seconds. The second drops every 3 seconds. The third drops every 2 seconds.
She almost clears it, but the metal slams down and catches her leg, severely injuring her.
Oh, she was so close.
Bleeding, gasping, and in agonizing pain, she drags her body those final few feet to the exit, reaching her hand out toward the open blue sky.
Only to touch a smooth, cold surface. It's a screen.
A screen.
It's nothing but a high-resolution video playing on a giant monitor at a dead end.
That is so cruel.
The sheer cruelty of it just breaks her. She collapses and begins laughing hysterically. She's completely defeated. She stops fighting. She simply waits for the fire pipes to emerge and finally end it. Instead, the actual roof of the tunnel slowly grinds open and a blinding, brilliant light pours down from above.
She opens her eyes. She is no longer in a metal tube. She is standing in a lush, incredibly vibrant green paradise. And standing there waiting for her is Nina. Not an illusion in a dark tunnel, but her actual daughter.
Oh, wow.
Lisa looks around, completely bewildered, and asks, "Am I dead?" And Nina replies with the profound truth, "Your body has died many times. Now you just have to live."
The summary's final conclusion spells it out by looking at the raw facts we've collected. Adam actually killed Lisa with that knife back in the car on the desolate road. Her physical body died there.
Exactly.
The entire maze, it was purgatory. It was essentially a brutal, mechanical place to face her sins, fears, and grief.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, it all aligns perfectly. Synthesizing the explanation simply, the sci-fi traps were metaphors for spiritual cleansing.
Right.
The story was never a literal physical reality on Earth. The traps, the rising floors, the boiling acid, the timers forcing her forward, they were all a spiritual centrifuge. It is a straightforward journey from death, through a purification of the soul to final peace. By completing it, she purified her soul and reached heaven.
It's a brilliant execution of the concept. We started on a dark, lonely highway with a woman who had entirely given up on the concept of living. We followed her as she was shoved into a terrifying mechanical purgatory, where the environment literally forced her to fight for every single second of existence.
It really is an incredible journey.
She had to survive the environment, survive her killer, and finally survive her own mind. It took what looked like a messy, gory sci-fi thriller and stripped it down to reveal a very simple, elegant story about a soul doing the hard work to find peace.
It distills the incredibly complex, abstract concept of processing deep trauma into a visceral, understandable metaphor.
Why should the listener care about this story?
Because it tells us that sometimes, in order to heal, you cannot sit still.
You just have to keep crawling forward through the fire, no matter how much it burns.
That is such a powerful, resonant takeaway for anyone listening. We spend so much time trying to avoid the painful parts of healing, but the maze shows that the pain is the path.
Absolutely.
So we want to leave you with this final provocative thought to mull over today. If your own personal struggles were somehow manifested as a physical, mechanical maze, what would your unique traps look like? And when you finally reach that very last junction, would you truly have the strength to walk away from your deepest, most familiar regrets in order to find the exit?